it just feels like there's no tread for improvement sometimes. They have improved over the last two episodes. Last episode went for 854,000 viewers over their 700 to 600 counterpart, and they haven't reached near a million since December of last year. So at least they did something. What was the highlight of the show? Technically nothing. I I'm trying to, like, we saw Jericho and MJF over the Varsity Vons after fighting to be in the top tag team, and yet they're in a battle royal, a tag team battle royal to get a shot against the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks have intervened so they can at least do something. And that would be hyping up their match with the Good Brothers, that possibly they wouldn't be inside the match if they weren't having a probability of winning. So we'll have a tag team battle royal to get a title shot at Revolution. If they hit, and if the Young Bucks win, they're probably going to pick the Good Brothers for a dream match that obviously nobody asked for. We also had, of course, the continuous feud with Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer, and they finally had their match. Lance's ponytail looked a bit shorter. I think I heard that he was giving out to charity or some garbage. Well, the toughest spot was the chokeslam outside the ring. He kept fighting him outside. He was getting the upper hand. It's when Eddie was still trying to get a comeback going. Jake the Snake Roberts was getting held up by the Butcher and Blade, and then the Bunny came with a freaking what looked to be some kind of wrist thing with coins in it, and he socked him with a backhand, taking him out. Eddie Kingston wins. Pat comes later. We then have sexually frustrated Moxley saying that there's nobody to trust in pro wrestling. I like my coffee cold, my water warm, and my sex in the morning. Who asked? And they're saying it beach break because we need another unnecessary special to compensate for not monthly pay-per-views. For obvious build for matches that really don't have that much of a story involved. Like Sting just messes around with Team Taz with Darby Allin that has no other depth. Like I don't mind, and it's good to see Sting doing something other than, oh, he appears, he disappears whenever Darby or Cody's in trouble. God, I'm trying to be patient. Sorry for the long little pause right there, people. It's just... We also had Ryan Nemeth against Hangman Adam Page. This match shouldn't have been as long as it is for this... Oh, God, this guy looks like freaking Dolph Ziggler. Short head, buzz cut, Billy and Chuck head ass midget coming around having like a 10-minute match. AEW, do squash matches, for God's sakes. Anything to compensate for you idiots actually building up over your wrestlers. The Varsity Blondes shouldn't even had a commercial break with the Inner Circle tag team of Chris Jericho and MJF. Nobody know who this guy is. The same thing happened with Moxley when he just returned to the ring last week. You can do squash matches. It compensates for your wrestlers getting built up strong unless he's facing off against a lower card guy, where he gives a bit of a strong appearance, and that builds up your lower card guy, and it shows your top guy still being strong. I don't mind matches like that because that's building up the jobber of being at least a decent mid-carder, and it does well for the top guy. What is this to say about over Hangman Adam Page joining a faction? Now Matt Hardy's trying to, of course, put his chips in on Hangman Adam Page, trying to make him join the Private Party affiliates, and I don't care. What's the benefit of Hangman Page? Yes, he's a great wrestler. I mean, he can do backflips over while doing clotheslines. He can partially sell, and the guy's bland as hell as a character, other than just being like a crappy James Storm. And we already have a James Storm on Impact. Either way, it's just so bland. just so damn bland. We had Jericho and MJF versus the Varsity Blondes. MJF came around mocking Griff Garrison because he beat him. There was counters with pokes on the eyes, stops, clotheslines, forearms, a bit of Hurricane Rana's. It's like, why are they coming back anyway? Why are they showing like equal footing against guys that are supposedly the top guys that's been chasing the world titles? Like, there's a different league over why Sammy Guevara and possibly Jake Hagar could have a struggle with these dudes. Two guys like Santana and Ortiz, or MJF and Chris Jericho shouldn't be having a struggle with these type of jobbers. Somehow Jericho cleans it up with a lion salt for the finish. Well, at least Jericho's stomach could actually be useful for something. Oh, we're done with the fat shaming here on our reviews right here. We don't make fun of fat people. We just shun them. Cody answers the call over for Shaquille O'Neal. And of course, there's also a solution over for I forgot her name. Cade? Whatever, Red Velvet came and said that she'll try to deal with her as her first opponent. Over the months of build, talking shit about Cody, and I keep forgetting, wait, holy crap, Kenny Omega's our world champion. Holy crap, he's such a minor character. It came off Arn Anderson trying to build her up, and Jim Ross like, oh my god, she said bitch ass. I mean, she's serious. Like, you see, like, Jim Ross doesn't care about what goes on in the women's division. He mocks it, because obviously, AEW shows that they don't give a crap. We also had a promo involving Darby Allin and Sting over recent answers with Taz and you want a street fight in Revolution. I've been going over that they're both hoodlums. We're both hoodlums, Sting. We're one the same. And Sting came around breaking windows like, oh wow, that means Sting is dangerous. No, it just comes around looking like you guys are just some edgy weirdos in a weird warehouse answering the question instead of a decent interview, and it just makes no atmospheric threat at all. Then we have, of course, Team Taz, just an outside, like, why don't you have it inside the arena? You're doing this in the secluded part of a parking lot near a stage truck where there is presented merch of Sting and Darby Allin. They bring it up, well, you disrespect us? With, of course, Taz's third neck chuckling at the microphone. You disrespect us? Hook come around just left righting this dude and tossing him out a guardrail. It was funny. God, bro, this show is like. We also had hype over Jungle Boy against Dax Hardwood. And it was like, oh, you guys win because of the numbers game. And this time it was like a work rate match. It was the longest match of the night. Like, I think it was like 27 minutes. Over nothing but moves. Hurricane Rana's, Tornado DDTs. It was like reversals over reversal, pin over pin. Drop kick over a match that means nothing. The match doesn't benefit them over the long run for a future tag title shot because they have a battle royal that they can win, or they get. This is over no grudges at all. Most of them haven't done anything, and then it ended with FT after Jungle Boy picked up the surprise win. Jungle Boy gets jumped. Luchasaurus gets handcuffed. His gimmick that is he's a giant freaking lizard face, iguana face dinosaur. Then he comes around getting his rubber horns cut off. Like, that's so corny. I don't even want to force it out. Next up, we have Goku wearing Shayna against Britt Baker with Reba. We had decent neck breakers, Shining Wizards. It was an average match. Shayna was being athletic. Her gimmick technically is just being another Kylie Ray, but she's a nerd. That I don't mind, but it's just another Kylie Ray. It ends with, of course, her finisher. I think it's called the Grimlock or some garbage name for the finisher. She puts her glove on. Thunder Rosa comes later on after a post-match assault. I don't mind, and I can't wait for the match because at least it's not Britt Baker doing something worthless. She could have just had another talk show, and I would be fine with that. Because most of the women are doing is getting ready for this stupid tournament that's not going to build up for anything. The women's title is really irrelevant. Serena Deeb is more relevant than Hikaru Shida. We also have, of course, Thunder Rosa. I'm kidding. We have the Young Bucks feuding, tagging with the Good Brothers, who have a bit of an argument over Don Callis' recent black eye over the Young Bucks assaulting him and trying to break apart Kenny and the Bucks. You can tell from my tone I'm not that enticed. And it just ends with like, oh, good brother. I cheated on my wife and look at me. I'm still getting paid. Against the Dark Order. So technically the Young Bucks are healing. The Dark Order are automatically technically babyface because of Brody Lee's passing. Or something like that. They're just wrestling them because of the sake of wrestling. And the only highlights that come over in the matchup was, I guess, a running senton of Stu Grayson. And that stupid combo, Alex Reynolds, that just looks like that guy from Samurai Cop. Lost muscle mass and height. With John Silver. V-Trigger over V-Trigger. A Kia from freaking Carl Anderson. It ends with the Magic Killer plus Meltzer Driver. Seriously, change the damn name. Who makes their name out of a wrestling critic's freaking name for the finish? Like, I know Dave Meltzer's on payroll because I would change that name immediately. So it ends with the Young Bucks winning, Moxley and the Lucha Bros and the rest of the guys coming in that will face them in Beach Blast in another multi-man tag team match. At the end of the show, Kenny Omega even takes a paradigm shift. That's the most screen time Kenny Omega gets. He has the backstage segment like that. He was only there in the last few seconds, and then he gets paradigm shift after trying to help out technically the Bullet Club. It's just so bland. Your world champion looks like a minute character. There's no story interclimbed other than, I guess, the Young Bucks having relationship issues with Kenny Omega and Don Callis. With just the Good Brothers there. It's so bland. By the way, they call him LG, even though technically isn't that trademarked? I thought they got to go back to Doc Gallows because he just got released. Don't know if you're still able to keep Luke Gallows. I don't know about that, buddy. It's just so bland, bro. I guess the only basic watchable match was technically Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer, because at least I had a semblance over build, even though technically Lance Archer put himself in this storyline involving Pac, the Lucha Bros, the Butcher and Blade, and Eddie Kingston over the last several months, over Eddie Kingston trying to manipulate the Lucha Bros over saying that they don't need Pac. Remember the Death Triangle? Even though Pac was like stuck in England before Eddie Kingston even came, at least their match was basic and had an average ending with a foreign weapon being used for a finish over the heel that was facing off against like a savage tall dude out of Lance Archer. I can at least understand that. The rest of the show is, I think, complete garbage. Other than Sammy Guevara having a bit of an argument with MJF over still no trust factor. And of course, I need a reminder of Jon Moxley mourning wood while he's wearing his stupid short tights. The show was mediocre. I'll say that to the least over the standpoint that you guys probably like it because you got to see the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers tag tonight. Last night. No stories. just work rate. I gotta see like over 10-minute matches for 2 matches that should have been squash matches. Like, Shayna is not even that much of a suitable contender. Yet that match was like 7 minutes. We had an over 13-minute match involving Hangman Adam Page and this Dolph Ziggler looking mother. And of course, the Varsity Blondes that are like what, a dark tag team against a team that's technically supposed to be a heel top team like MJF and Chris Jericho. That crap's like 10 minutes to suit over nothing. Have more backstage segments. Even though TNA does overdone segments, at least that's to produce a story. AEW doesn't do this, even though they have storylines that should include more backstage segments, like the stuff involving the Young Bucks and Don Callis, or the stuff involving Team Taz, Darby Allin and Sting, or what's going on with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, because there's not that much depth other than Britt Baker doesn't like her being here. Hikaru Shida can't get anything because she's bland as hell, and Kenny Omega just sucks. If you guys think differently that Dynamite was alright, at least, please, I would like to hear what you felt about the show last night. Other than that, that's all I gotta say, because I'm about to hit an aneurysm if people think I enjoy watching Dynamite that much. That's it for me.